You know, it's no secret that Bumblebee has never been my favorite character, but I may possibly have finally met the version of Bumblebee that will be my last version of Bumblebee. Why? Because he's pretty darn perfect. What am I talking about? Why, I'm talking about the KBB Hornets Agent. And this guy is going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. And while you're at it, man, that's right, please hit that notification bell because it helps me out and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, and the Autobot family. And hey, while you're at it, why not have a look for me everywhere across social media? And this is KBB's Hornets Agent, and it's weird. I saw this and said that bee is perfect, and I immediately ordered this guy. Like, there was no hesitation, there was no second thinking. I took a chance on it, and boy am I glad that I did. The silhouette and the coloration is perfect. The articulation is pretty fantastic. The transformation is definitely clever and different for Bumblebee. And if you liked Newage Flipper, well, since this is a KO upsized version of that, you're probably going to like this guy too. How does he compare with other legends? How does he compare with Earthrise Cliffjumper? Well, we're about to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And I do love me some KBB kubianbao offers, this time Hornets Agent, or sometimes it's Wasp Agent on the packaging. I'm not exactly sure which one is right, but I'm going to say Hornets Agent, which we all know, of course, to be Bumblebee. And this is part of their, I think it's like classical master series or something. This, in essence, is a knockoff of the Newage version of Autobot Bumblebee. And I think they probably did it a little bit better here. Before we get into the guy and his accessory, though, we should start off and look at his packaging first. And here, of course, we have the packaging. We have a picture of Hornets Agent on the front. And over here it says Wasp Agent in the box, others to buy separately or something along those lines. A whole bunch of stuff on the back that I can't read, but you know, it's your basic packaging. It's nice, it's durable, it's a nice cardstock. It is what it is. And we have nice little full color but clear, easy to see instructions. I dig it. And itty bitty gloss black blaster that serves the purpose. And here we have the boy, and you know what? Like, I dig this. I love this. I obviously put an Autobot symbol on his chest. The blaster fits in his hand, though not oddly, as you can probably tell right there. And it's not straight, but that's because of the way that the slot is molded in the hand. It's molded on a little bit of an angle. It's strange. But, yeah, let's get into the grades for this guy. Look at him. It's Bumblebee. 10. Absolutely 10. This may be the last Bumblebee I ever need to get personally. In terms of his articulation, the head, it can go left and right. Forget that, way. Can it look up or down? Not really much up or down. A little wiggle, but it does go left and right. It's on a ball joint. The shoulders go all the way around. They go well out to the side. We have a little over 90 degrees at the elbow. Because of the ball joint, we get a bicep swivel. We get a wrist swivel, which I absolutely love. We do not have a waist. That's unfortunate. That's the one joint that he doesn't have that I wish that he did. We do get a kick forward, back, thigh swivel, knee to 90 degrees, little bit of an ankle tilt in. Yeah, you can get some pretty dynamic poses. You know, like there's one, for example, like you can get some pretty dynamic poses with this version of Bumblebee. I'm gonna say the waist is missing. That's the only thing that hurts it. Besides that, he has everything else you could want. Tolerance fantastically well. I'm gonna say that his articulation's a solid 9. And here we have our boy next to the Titans Return Bumblebee, who I looked at way back in episode 257 a long time ago. And I like the Titans Return Bumblebee, but when you put the two side by side, come on, is there really a comparison as to which one embodies the character more? And here he is next to other Legends class offerings, from Sea Spray to Brawn to Gears to Beachcomber. These come from the last several years. Yes, he may arguably be slightly bigger, but I think it's passable. I think he will do because his look is so ideal. As well, and I didn't mention this earlier, but like the plastic feels robust, it feels solid. The plastic feels really good on the guy. Newage did a fantastic job, but having him upsized fits my purposes a little bit better. But let's just say for a second, hey, you know what, he is ever so slightly a little bit bigger. Well, the going kind of price for a Legends class was traditionally here in the last few years $12.99 Canadian. This guy was a little bit more than that, which brings me to a very interesting comparison. Him next to Earthrise Cliffjumper, and a lot of people are going to see this and say that's a fantastic scale between those two. And I would agree with you. Here's the thing. We also know we're getting an Earthrise Bumblebee. As long as this one exists, I don't know if we really need an Earthrise Bumblebee, but to each their own. Here's the big thing that interests me, however. I have said all along that I don't believe that Cliffjumper is worth the price of a full deluxe. And I don't. I really don't. I don't think he is worth $35. Or in some places in Canada, $29.99. With taxes, you're still looking at about 35 bucks. But let's just stick to the $29.99, just for argument's sake. I've also said that I don't think Cliffjumper should be as cheap as $12.99, which was a traditional price of a Legends. He's somewhere in between. Enter this Bumblebee. This Bumblebee cost me $16.79 Canadian. More than what we would pay for a traditional Legends, but definitely not as much as a deluxe. I believe that this Cliffjumper falls in that same range. He is worth about $17 to $20 Canadian, no more. That is the way I see it. The Bumblebee isn't as, or Hornets Agent, isn't as, cost efficient as a traditional Legends, but he's definitely not something that needs to be overpriced. Cliffjumper, the same thing. He's definitely not quite as low as a Legends, but he's definitely not worth being overpriced at a deluxe, though they do look beautiful together. So with a beautiful 9.5, we can head into the transformation, and I like the transformation here. Here's the funny part. There is a section here where you have to kind of tab a section onto the leg, which was something I didn't like with Cliffjumper, but I feel like it works better here for some reason. I don't know why. So 9.5 is what we got so far. We had a 10 for the paint applications, and we had, or his look, and we had an 8 for his, was an 8? No, a 9 for his articulation. So between the 10 for the look, the 9 for the articulation, he's a 9.5. Into the transformation we go. We're just going to pick that back, and we're going to just pick up these two little sections for now, just so that's done. We're going to take the arms here and sort of turn them out to the side like that. We're going to come down to the bottom of his feet, and we're going to open out the back there. We're going to flip out the tire, and then we're going to straighten this up and straighten this up. Very similar to what we did with Cliffjumper. They don't really peg in, I guess they do peg into the legs a little bit, but they don't really peg into the legs. They'll peg in somewhere else in a little bit. Then we, see if I can remember how this goes now. Pardon the cut there for a second, but we do pull this out. I thought we did, but this was pegged in super duper tight. We begin to bring this up. Then there's a hinge back here, and we're going to hinge the whole thing back. Once we hinge the whole thing back, we can flip out these tires. Don't do anything with them. For now, just flip them out. Then we can flip in these arms. And when we flip in these arms, there's a section notched out right there that kind of goes up on a little notcher on the side. So it comes in and they notch in like that. Then we need to bring up the hips, and you really want to like turn it at the hinge, because if you don't, you're going to have trouble kind of fitting it in there later on, and it's going to be a bit of a nuisance to you. Open that up, put the toes together, and then the hands go kind of in underneath the toes. This is what I was talking about. There, you really want to use that hinge that's back here, because you need the hips to be absolutely straight. Then you can flip that in and flip that in and make sure all of that is tabbed in, and boom, in the end here you have Bumblebee in his bulbous beetle mode. And I love this. This is my cartoon lad. It would be nice if the Autobot symbol could turn around and if we had one down here on the hood, but beggars can't be choosers. Now, the Newage one, by the way, I think that at the end there when I said boom, I think I was after pushing these tires back in. Not a big deal. I believe the Newage one has the tires molded in. Painted but molded in, so it doesn't really roll. This guy, however, does roll. The tires are separate pieces. I love that. Easy transformation as long as you know about the hips. I'm going to say the transformation is also a solid 9. He was a 9.5, another 9. He's a 9.25. This is almost a perfect Bumblebee. How well does he scale with other guys? Well, here he is with himself, his Titans Return self. Here he is with a bunch of other lads, and you can see that for the most part he scales all right. Granted, the Hot Soldier's Cliffjumper is quite small next to him, but I'm okay with it because he was modeled after like a penny racer anyway, so he's supposed to be kind of smaller. I get it. A lot of people are going to argue with the fact and say, no, that's at a scale. The Bumblebee is far too big and or the Cliffjumper is too small. I get that. I absolutely understand where you're coming from. There's an argument definitely to be made for that. It works for me. It's not going to work for everyone. But you know what might work for you if you don't like this? Maybe you prefer something like this. Obviously, I have put the Earthrise Cliffjumper in here. In fact, more specifically, here we have that bee and Cliffjumper. And look, I want to reiterate something. It's not that I don't like the Earthrise Cliffjumper. I have said many times, and I don't know why I have to keep explaining it, he's fine. I just don't get a Cliffjumper feeling from him personally, and I think that he's best gotten on sale. That's it. That's it. Is he good? Yeah, he's great, and he scales beautifully well here. By the way, I do want to point out that I was mistaken. Apparently, this is the real world alt mode for Cliffjumper. And what we know from the cartoon, of course, was the penny racer, I guess super deformed alt mode. I don't know. I like that better because that's what I knew growing up. I don't know this, but it is accurate apparently. Do these guys look good together? Sure. The Cliffjumper is fine if you're fine with the price, but when you look at both of these guys, one is $15 more than the other. Just saying. The bee, on the whole, is a 9.25, and he arguably scales quite well with a lot of characters in one's collection. And man, here we are once again, and this guy is pretty much perfect. I acknowledge that he is, there's a little bit more to him than there is to your typical Legends. The way that he scales is weird. It's sort of like the Voyager members, the Voyager Constructicons that make up Devastator from the Combiner Wars line, the Titan Devastator. They're obviously Voyagers, but all of their proportions seem a little bit oversized and bigger, like they did take a deluxe and upsized it, you know? They fit, but they only kind of fit, depending on what you put them next to. Well, this guy's the same thing. He fits, but he's ever so slightly off. It's not enough though to be a deal breaker for me because I think the silhouette and the look of the guy, the head sculpt even, is perfect. I love the alt mode. It looks like it jumped off the screen to me. I love the articulation. Honestly, there's nothing here I don't like. There really isn't. I just wish that the guy had a waist, and I don't even know if they could have worked a waist into it. I like this, I think, better than I would if I had Flipper, because this guy does have separate tires that roll. And my understanding is that Flippers are molded in and painted. Does he scale well with Earthrise Cliffjumper? Absolutely. But again, and I said this earlier, just to reiterate, this guy was $16.79 Canadian. Cliffjumper taxes in is $35 Canadian. That's almost 3 times the price. Is Cliffjumper that much more than this? I don't think so. I acknowledge that this guy and Cliffjumper, man, they're more than your traditional legends, no doubt. But I think that this guy is excellent value for the asking price. He's excellent value for money. Maybe he's not for you, but he certainly is for me, and I think that he is my Bumblebee champion. Will he be dethroned? I don't know if it's possible, but I'm certainly interested to find out as time goes on. Let me know what you think about KBB Hornets Agent, or Newage Flipper for that matter. You know I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time, and I do know how important it is to you. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there's a donate link down in the description. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every day, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time, man, that you and I get together to have another visit, either at the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, man, the way we usually get together right here inside the videos.